All right, let's get into it, folks. The big DeFi is coming to PulseChain very soon. We're talking about within the next 30 to 60 days. In fact, some of it possibly before the end of this month. I'm expecting at least potentially one or two things before the end of July. And we're going to get into a highlight of things that are coming. So let's check it out. Here we go, a little mini presentation for you. And of course, the first one is Coast. Coast coming out here, and they look like they're really racing to be first on a lot of things. And Coast, if you don't know, has signed a bank partner, which is very important. This is about as streamlined as you can get in terms of bridging the fiat world with the crypto world. In particular, what we care about is fiat world to PulseChain. So it's a really big deal to have that direct on or off ramp. You don't want to have to go through 6 or 7 steps, whatever it takes to bridge in and out a fiat currency. Maybe your dollar cost averaging in. You don't have to go through all these different steps to get there, especially centralized exchanges where you take on the risk of not your keys, not your coins. Some of them, like Coinbase, you have to wait for like a week until the actual money hits the crypto, all that sort of stuff. It's really, really crazy. So getting this really, really cool stuff. Also limits on the amount of crypto that you can do. Also the amount of fees that you have to pay. So there's so many different issues around fiat on-ramps. And of course, particularly the PulseChain, we want our direct one, and Coast is delivering that alpha. It really is big alpha for PulseChain. Bank part signing, Coast stablecoin as well. That's going to be huge. We want stablecoins that are native PulseChain. They really do insulate and protect the chain. They also amplify the value of the chain as well. And so it's a huge win-win on all fronts. And of course, having a fiat-backed version is very cool. It is one of the 2 best models that you can have. And of course, we're going to have that fiat back one. It's going to be very, very neat. Certainly going to help a lot of people around the world. So what else? Their on and off ramp is going to be really cool. Whether you bring money in or whether you're taking out profits, whatever, it's going to be good for you. And of course, the first markets that are expected to launch for Coast is the USA, UK, Canada, and Australia. But wait, there's more. There's approved countries. 150 countries have been approved now. 84% of the world. So it will come to you out there. You can see that you'll have access to this bridging on-ramp, off-ramp, and stablecoin CST. If you want to make some issuance and redemption, you'll be able to do that too. So it's pretty bullish on that front. And of course, for the influencers out there, or just the average Joe that likes to make a little bit on the side, apparently there's going to be a referral program. And it's going to be 5,000 weight tokens, which is pretty juicy. We're going to look at the weight token later on, but you'll be able to buy that on the market, which is pretty cool. I don't know what happened to my presentation there. So yeah, it's going to be 5,000 weight tokens to eat the person using the protocol and the person referring. So I know that obviously a lot of influencers out there will love it, but also anybody obviously probably can participate. And they're going to be doing market buys. So it's not from the existing supply per se. It's going to be by market buying, which is going to be pretty cool. So that's pretty cool on the old Coast, and you can see that the weight token has done pretty well. Let's go to PulseChain projects quickly on the old market, and we're going to pull up the weight token because I think I've got it here somewhere. Where is it? Down here today. What's it doing? How's it doing on the old weight token? Boy, these things are moving around fast. That's a weight token, but it's got the small liquidity pool. Let me just sort that alphabetically. Go to the bottom. And where's the big pool here? Yeah, it's got pretty small pools actually. So this is on obviously on the Ethereum and PulseChain, but PulseChain is what we care about. And this is the price at the moment. Look at that run up on the PulseChain news. And of course, I told you about it earlier down here. If you've been watching Hex Token, you would have been able to make on these. So it's pretty cool because we're covering pretty much everything on here on Hex Token. You do have the opportunity to pick up a lot on these early projects. So you've been very lucky if you're watching this channel. Compared to most people because they don't do that, right? So good luck to you. You would have made mad gains on the old weight token. And of course, here we are sitting at 00087 on the weight token, looking good. And of course, you're going to be able to use this to get discounted fees and all sorts of stuff on the old Coast platform. So looking very good. That is on the PulseChain side. Obviously, the other big one that we've got coming out, and if you go to Coast, you can see that they've been absolutely kicking it out with the latest and greatest on their profile. So you can see all the cool stuff that's coming with the Coast team. They're absolutely been kicking it out there, and that's expected to launch very soon, potentially within the next 2 weeks. So stay tuned for that. That is Coast. I'll post the actual Twitter if you want to go follow them and keep up on the latest and greatest. That's expected to launch within the next 2 weeks, which is pretty exciting, right? So definitely check that out. on the old Twitter there for Coast. We'll keep you abreast of all the developments coming up there. Very neat. All right. That is the first one. Of course, we got another one though too. We've got liquid loans is coming. Liquid loans. The one thing about Coast too, they had no sacrifice, right? So number 2 is liquid loans. 50+ million in sacrifice. It is the biggest sacrifice project after PulseChain and PulseX. 50 million plus. I think it was 51, something like that. So it's pretty awesome from Liquid Loans. It is a professionally run alpha. I mean, these guys are running it like a big corporate, which is pretty cool. I like that. It's good to have some of these professional level big DeFi projects on PulseChain. Just adds to that credence. And of course, they also are good at doing business partnerships, bringing on new value to PulseChain, and that's what we want, right? We want these kind of high level professional places. So it's pretty cool. All right, we've also got Archipelago's in the chat there about. Let me post that chat before we move too far on with Liquid Loans. Archipelago's been covering what's Archipelago? Archipelago's been covering the Coast team very, very closely. So yeah, Coast should be live at this time next week. Yeah, so that's true. So like I say, before the end of July or within the next 2 weeks. Very, very cool. All right. Hey, we've got a number of things in the house there. Hi, Superman. Hope you're doing well. Your dedication is admirable. I appreciate that number of things. Thank you so much. Good to see you in the chat too. It's been a little while. OG in the house. We've got Brendan as well. Howdy, folks. Good to see Brendan too. Brendan, one of our TA specialists. Good to see you as well. Yo, Mama, did you talk about Daytona coin gig for the staking? Late to the live. No, I haven't talked about Daytona on that one at the moment. It was one of the ones I'm going to cover tomorrow. So a bit of front running me with that one. What's that? Brandon says royalty David Feder in the house. Yeah, true that. Bring out the was it the purple cloak? That's the royalty color, right? Which we've got raw purple on at the moment. All right, let's get into Liquid Loans before we get too distracted. We've got 50 million plus sacrifice, of course, coming. They're going to be launching first with the multi-sig, right? So I played that yesterday from the Liquid Loans team. In fact, let's bring up that video because I've got that while I'm covering them. I might as well pull that up. Let me see. Where is that? Liquid Loans. It's amazing what you decide to do on the fly, right? Liquid Loans launch. So that's coming up. I'll play that video in a second. And let's go through a bit more. So we've got multi-sigs coming up. And then we got the Fetch Oracle and, of course, Oracle Reporters. So that's coming up as well. And Fetch Earnings. You'll be able to earn Fetch Earnings. I think this probably would be a bit more of a boutique sort of niche earning. And maybe for a more techie person. I'm not sure how difficult that's going to be. It's going to be for price feeds and non-price information as well. And having an Oracle on PulseChain is a game changer for DeFi protocols, really is a big deal. So being able to get price calls like that, not just through PulseX or something like that, but it's really a big deal there. So cool. Multi-sig wallets, of course, being able to have multiple users on a wallet, that's really useful. And of course, Fetch Oracles and Oracle Reporters, very, very exciting stuff there with the Fetch. That's going to be in this order. And then, of course, they're going to launch with the Liquid Liquidity fork, Liquid Loans. And of course, Liquidity is number 13 on the ETH chain for TVL, $760 million on that protocol. And of course, we talked about the Coast stablecoin being one of the best models with the fiat-backed model. The other best model is the Liquidity version of the protocol for fiat-backed stables and or protocol-backed stables. And I don't know what I touched then, but this all went back there. Number 13 on ETH there, 760 million TVL. Big deal, right? This is our target. Imagine Ethereum's got a target on its back. PulseChain is ramping up to catch up with those TVL targets on there. We might hit some. We might get to 20% of some of them, 80% of some of them. Who knows? But we are targeting. We're at the early days. Like we say, we're ending day 70, starting day 71 on PulseChain. It's early days, and we've got an incredible amount of developers and people in the community that are bringing these top-tier protocols. So big deal. Liquidity fork there, Liquid Loans, number 13 on ETH, big deal. We'll be chasing that. Let's see here from CC. And we get back to this. Let's play this one here.
Deployment for us will always be Gnosis Safe first, because that's the multi-sig that we'll be needing for liquid loans. So that has to be deployed, and we're expecting that, we'll be in a position to deploy that very soon. The next thing that usually follows after that will be fetch, right? So we need to have the Oracle up and running. And so the expectation is that the Oracle will then be launched. And then as soon as the Oracle's launched and we're comfortable that's working correctly, then we'll be launching liquid loans. So from that point of view, please try all of these tools that we're making available, and the success of the audits will determine the timing of when we can release liquid loans.
So that's a really big deal. We've got another video too. We're going to play that one as well because both of them are really good. So let's get to that one. This is on the oracles. There's a little bit longer. Let's go.
And it was unfortunate that PulseX had some issues. It wasn't a major issue. We all understand that the issue that was occurring there was largely to do with the buy and burn feature. That's been resolved. Really good that the guys were able to address that really quickly. But these are the types of things that can happen. Thankfully, something like PulseX is easy enough to continue to enhance and improve upon. But that was something that occurred. And we all know that that was a copy of a previously audited project. But again, these changes, no matter how small, can actually have a significant impact on the protocol. And as unfortunate as it was, the upside is we don't believe it was a major issue. It was an unfortunate situation, but it's also an important situation to highlight the reason for needing to have a centralized Oracle service. As part of our protocol, we need to call a price of pulse. We need to understand, well, what is the price of pulse at any given time so that the contracts can actually behave in the appropriate way, knowing that we can rely on a particular price. If we had have deployed with immutable code, which we can't change, and we're pointing to a liquidity pool that all of a sudden is non-existent, the protocol fails. So you would have major issues with the protocol that isn't using a decentralized Oracle service to pull a price feed. As much as you can use a DEX, the challenge with it is if there's something that's broken or if there's an issue with that particular DEX or that particular liquidity pool, you're going to have problems when you actually deploy immutable code that actually is pointing to a particular liquidity pool. Whilst it was unfortunate what happened to PulseX, it kind of reinforced the reason why we needed to have a decentralized Oracle service available.
All right, so pretty cool on that one. Let me just remove that. So some good reasons for having good Oracle price calls and non-price calls. So that's really cool. Blobfish King's going to be a Coast customer. Good morning from Australia. Looking forward to loading up via Coast in Australia soon, 100%. We have customers around the world, folks, over 150 countries. Going to be pretty awesome there eventually. Liquid loans, of course. So multi-sig wallets, fetch oracles, and oracle porters. There will be an earnings opportunity there for some people. So definitely keep a lookout for that. And of course, liquidity fork, liquid loans, and of course, that is number 13. So liquidity is liquid loans is forking liquidity. That's the big platform that's coming out. It is a game changer, this platform. We're going to talk about that. It is currently liquidity is number 13 on ETH at 760 million TVL. So it's a big deal. So let's look at some of the things that are coming with liquidity fork. USDL stablecoins. Not only will we have the CST stablecoin, we have USDL, another stablecoin. This is going to be probably a very big stablecoin on the protocol, and of course, it's going to add more features to Pulse. You're going to be able to collateralize your Pulse. In other words, you put your Pulse on the Liquid Loans liquidity fork, and you can issue yourself some stablecoins. That means you don't have to sell your Pulse. That may give you a tax advantage in certain jurisdictions where you don't actually have a taxable event. And you can go and use the stable coins. You're actually borrowing the money. And of course, you can, or borrowing the crypto, and you can go use the USDL and you can go do something else with it. What do you want to do? You can either stake it on the platform or you can go and do leverage buying. So that's the two options you have. Leverage buying, you can go buy more of Rich Heart tokens or more of other tokens that you want, which is really cool, without having to trade out of your existing Pulse, which is pretty neat. Now, the other thing, of course, is that you've got protocol staking and earnings, and you'll be able to stake USDL on the actual Liquid Loans protocol and earn from that as well. So you've got different options available to you there. So it's pretty cool. Profoundly cool in the sense that it's going to collateralize Pulse, giving Pulse another feature to it, another benefit to the actual Pulse coin, which is pretty bullish. So really cool. Can't be understated, the impact. And of course, we have the buy and burn at the moment with the EIP 1559. And we have the staking through the validators, but then we're going to have staking of Pulse essentially through the Liquid Loans liquidity fork protocol, and that's more supply sync. So that's going to accelerate the fact that there's less supply on the market for PulseChain. Bullish, as well as the leverage buying, mean that you're going to be buying potentially more Pulse and more PulseX as well. So really bullish protocol. And of course, with $50 million sacked, presumably and hopefully there's lots of big players there that want to utilize the protocol on a big dollar value. So hopefully that matches up when it goes live as well. Now, the next one, of course, is going to have its own platform token. It's going to have a loan token, which is going to allow you to do protocol staking and earnings as well if you're holding the loan token. And we're only expecting something like 25% of the loan token to be in circulating supply at the beginning because when they did their sacrifice, they had a 2-year sacrifice period, and the Hex Godwell was even in it as well, and he's out for 2 years. So he doesn't get his coins for 2 years. So he's a long-term view on the success of liquid loans in that point of view. So it's going to be a limited amount of that as well. Not all of it will go to the staking protocol. Some of it will go into liquidity pools. So that's a big deal to say. Why? Because there's going to be liquidity pool incentives as well. So we've talked about the fetch earnings opportunity. We talked about the liquidity forks earnings opportunity for USDL and loan, but there's also going to be incentives for the liquidity pool as well. And so you'll have that in there too, which is super bullish, right? So you'll be able to earn even more. And we know how popular these pool incentives are amongst, and the DeFi. So really big. So that's pretty cool there. That is the liquid loans. And of course, you can see the liquid loans protocol here on the website, which looks pretty amazing. You can try it on testnet v4 at the moment. And of course, we've done that many times on this channel, played on the old testnet. Let me just pull it up while I'm here. MetaMask giving me some more notices apparently. And let's go to testnet v4 and log on there. Let's do it. All right. Beautiful protocol, right? Beautifully laid out as you would expect from the biggest sacrifice project out there. 0% interest free sounds pretty good to me. And so I think the actual, generally they suggest to you 1,000% collateral, which is like a 10% loan amount of your capital or TVL. But I would say, or loan to value ratio, I should say. But typically what we see overall is that people take a lot more risk taking on here. And we may see that the global TCR, the total CR up at the top left here, is closer to something like maybe 200 to 300%, somewhere in that ballpark, somewhere in there. So people will take a lot more lending leverage, which means that the leverage buying and all that sort of stuff is way higher, way more powerful on potentially pushing up asset prices, particularly Richard Hart tokens and things like that. So I'm pretty optimistic about that. It's going to look really cool. The other thing, of course, we talked about the fact that you can put your pulse in and you can get stablecoin USDL out. So that's what you do here on the borrow USDL pool. On the stability pool, you can stake your USDL, which is pretty cool. The staking pool there, you can stake the second token, the loan token. Remember, that's coming out of that sacrifice that people have done. We're only expecting about 25% to come out immediately. And then every month, we're expecting more and more. Month 6, 12, and 18, and 24, we have big jumps in the amount of tokens that come onto the market because of the bonuses at that time. So that's going to be pretty interesting to see that play out. LP rewards, of course, here they are here. You can get LP rewards, pretty cool. That'll be running for a certain period of time. You have no loan rewards to claim, so you'll be paid out in a loan token. If that's what you're asking, what do you get paid? That's what you'll be getting. And of course, there are a few other things on here as well as redemptions and liquidations that you can see. So amazing site. We can't wait for it to launch. It's on testnet v4 at the moment. Looking really good. I'm going to post you Liquid Loans website in the chat if you want to check it out. Liquid Loans, bam. And that's coming very soon. So looking good. There's the old Liquid Loans. Very nice. Let me just check the channels there. Channels looking good as well. All right. Let me jump over there. That is Liquid Loans. So looking very nice as Liquid Loans. That brings us on into number 3. And of course, that is Power City. Power City, 14 million plus sacrifice on Power City. And I remember they stuck around 2.3 million because they were at the sacrifice open for a long time. And then boy, did it rally after that when it got close to PulseChain. 14 play. It's a really good sacrifice level. Huge team, big influencers, big community following. And so that's the cool thing about Liquid Loans and Power City. They're both running very good marketing programs, very good PR programs. They're really something that other project teams can learn off. And also they also got big influencers in the space. So that's what you need for that critical mass, that large adoption. I love it. So these protocols are really doing a great job on that front. So yeah, Power City, core protocol stakings and earnings. So they're going to have the core. You're going to have the WATT token at WATT. That is through the sacrifice, and you'll be able to put it in the core. Obviously, if you don't have WATT tokens because you never sacrificed, you'll be able to buy them on the market, and then you can sacrifice them, put them in the core project, and you can earn from all the different protocols that are launching. So that's their core staking protocol, but you get to earn from all their whole ecosystem of protocols. And of course, one of those is Portal X, which is a super DEX aggregator. It is live now, and it is over 60 blockchains. I think they're hitting over 100 blockchains. And of course, they're going to be going multi-token as well. I think at the moment they've just got Pulse transfer to the Pulse chain, but I think they're going to be doing all the PRC20s, or at least the popular ones, on there as well. So that is going to be huge. I think they've probably earned a lot of fees already. So if you've got Watt token coming for the core, I'm pretty sure that Portal X has earned a lot already. It really is a one-stop shop there for a cross-chain super DEX aggregator, which is amazing. So DEX aggregator, of course, is, if you imagine all these different DEXs and liquidity pools around the place, well, Portal X does all the hard work for you, and it goes around and gets you the best rate across all these DEXs. It's a really big deal. It's going to be a big deal for, I guess PHUX or Balancer or, anything like that, for 9-inch DEX, whatever it's coming. PulseX, of course, they're going to go across there, going to help all those protocols as well. All right, whatever's the best rate. And it does all the hardcore thinking for you between tokens and chains. So it really is a dream come true there on Portal X. The other one, of course, they're going to be doing limit orders, and they're going to have token revokes as well for security. Those are coming up too as features on Portal X. Right, so PowerCity is also doing a liquidity fork as well. Obviously, liquidity fork number 13 on the ETH chain there, 760 million TVL, so a big deal. Liquidity fork earn, and that's going to be pretty cool. Now, the cool thing I like about this, of course, is they're not using a PLS. They're going to be using, they're going to be issuing a stablecoin on their PXDC. So now we've got CST from Coast, we've got USDL stablecoin from Liquid Loans, and now we've got from PowerCity PXDC, 3 really good stablecoins native to PulseChain, which will complement and expand the financial ability of the PulseChain there, and also means that ultimately we're not reliable on traditional Ethereum stablecoins. Thinking of USDC, USD Tether, and of course DAI, which is now currently the preferred one on the old PulseChain now. So PXDC stable, collateralized PLSX, that's the other big deal. So with Liquid Loans, obviously we're collateralizing Pulse. Here we're adding a new feature to Pulse. We'll be able to collateralize Pulse X, and that's cool too. Once again, means that you're getting Pulse X off the market. May be a tax benefit to you. You're taking out a loan, USDL, and of course USDL, you can either go and buy some more good stuff, and bring it back in, maybe more Pulse X, which can take Pulse X off the market, which is a big deal. And also you can go and do some leverage buying, or you can just put it in the protocol and stake and get some earnings. So big deal on that. Obviously, they'll also have their native token on there too, and you'll be able to earn on the platform with that also. I don't think I've got that up there, but you can do that too. The amplifier, they're going to have that coming as well. This is going to mean that you can do auto strategies for Liquid Loans and the Earn protocol, both of the forks of Liquidity. So you're going to be able to make yield on yield, basically, or at least follow a strategy that's going to try and create you more value over time. So it's going to be amplifier that's coming up. That's going to be a big deal. I think a lot of people will like that. I think they like the haunted strategy, or the hot pool strategy, or what's in it? Hot pool strategy, hot pool strategy. That's sort of stuff. So that's coming up. You can do that too. And then we've got E there. We've got Pixel Park coming up there in the NFT market space, innovative NFT marketplace. Although I think they're going to just try and get up early with the basic stuff, because the NFT marketplaces are really starting to heat up now. We saw the Beat marketplace launch, stealth launch yesterday, and that's kicking off there. And of course, we know that we've got Hocus Pocus has just launched their token, and they're coming with their NFT marketplace. And of course, that's going to heat up there amongst the top NFT marketplaces. And of course, Mintra's coming down the line. Mintra looks amazing, and so that's coming too. And of course, How to Pulse with their market. So it's going to heat up in the marketplaces there as well. And there's a few other marketplaces that are also coming to Pulse Chain. So it's going to be fun. Pixel Park coming. The other thing, of course, is the accelerator is coming as well. They're going to have auto compounding on the accelerator. So, eighth wonder of the world, is it? And of course, it's compounding, and being able to auto compound is going to be a big deal. You're going to get yield on yield pretty much. And that's the holy grail, right, of finance, is getting a yield on yield. So pretty cool on the old PowerCity. And of course, PowerCity has their website up here on PowerCity. So I'm going to post that in the chat as well if you want to check that out for more details. That is PowerCity. and I'll post that link too. That is the Powder City link there, man. Looking good. And of course, you can find out a lot more there as well. Now, the cool thing is that if you go to apps, you will see that Portal X is live. You can launch that and you can do actual trades on both PulseChain and on over 60 chains or 65 chains it's got here. 60 dexes and 15,000 tokens. It really is the best one-stop shop trading. The other thing, of course, you can check out Core as where you stake your Watt token on testnet. And you can also check out the Earn protocol, the fork of liquidity on testnet v4 as well for PulseChain, coming to PulseChain very soon. Obviously, they've also got the NFT marketplace, the Amplify, and Accelerator as well. So looking good is that a team. All right, that brings us into the next one, of course, is number 4, PH Universe. This is from Buck. If you guys know Buck, he's doing lots of Twitter spaces out there. He has strong opinions about where things are heading, where things should head. He's got some sort of financial trading background or something like that. And yeah, PH Universe has done $15 to $20 million in sacrifice based on my estimates. So yeah, the 15 is still baseline, but probably up to towards 20 million. So pretty cool there from the PH Universe. It's made up on multiple products that are protocols that are coming to PulseChain. Obviously, there's the Fatty wallet, and it's kind of a light form of a portfolio manager wallet. And of course, you can see all this stuff on PulseChain and Ethereum and things like that. Pretty cool. As the old Fatty also offers you, opportunities to leverage with some of your asset portfolio if you want to do that with some of their other products. That's Fatty, and of course, you can see Fatty wallet here. This no, that's not the Fatty one. Is that the one? No, that's not the Fatty one either. Where is the Fatty? Here is the Fatty wallet. So you can see the Fatty wallet here. Gives you an example. You got your portfolio. It's also got a whale watch. You can watch all the whales in the ecosystem, and it's got all their products also there as well. Which is not bad. And it's got a lot of popular third-party ones as well that are on PulseChain. It's pretty cool. What else? That is, I was going to talk about that later, so we'll push it over there. So it's got Fatty, and then, of course, they've got PHUX, or as I call it, PHUX. It's a balancer fork, right? And it is an AMM, automatic market maker, or an index of different pools. You can actually have more than 2 tokens. So it's kind of like an index in that way. And, of course, balancer is number 11 on Ethereum. So, and it is worth 860 million TVL. So you think if you've got these top TVL protocols on Ethereum, they've got targets on their backs, and it's on PulseChain because we're looking to get closer to that with these opportunities here. So balancer fork, PX, AMM Dex there is looking really, really good. And let's go have a look at that at the moment. So we can see that this target is 860 million on Ethereum, ranked at number 11 in the TVL list on Ethereum. And we're already at 45 million. Look at that, 45 million on the balancer fork, looking really good. This is only going to get bigger, dramatically, because you've got these other protocols launching that we're talking about. There's big DeFi protocols about to launch in the next 30, 60 days, and they're going to be going. Many of them will have pools on here as well, on the balancer pool. And so this TVL is just going to continue to go up. If we get a breakout on PulseChain, to the upside, then the values are going to go up, and up. So you can quickly see how we'll start heading towards this $860 million TVL on the balancer fork of PHUX. I think it's a very good chance that's going to get a pretty high percentage of that as well. So let's do some quick maths on that, because I know we like to talk about that. So let's do 45. This is where we are at the moment, and we're only on day 70, just finished day 70 on PulseChain, divided by 860. That's already 5.2% of that value, and I could see it getting up to 20-30% of that value in the next 30 to 60 days, maybe 90 days, depending on how the protocols roll out and who participates on the balancer there. But up and away. We get a breakout on Pulse. That's going to happen very fast indeed as the values go up. It's going to be pretty neat to see that. So looking good. There's the old balancer. So that is coming over. So you can see what's happening here is a lot of the developers on the PulseChain side are targeting all these top TVL protocols on Ethereum and bring them over to PulseChain. PulseChain being the first full system state fork of Ethereum. So it's a big, big deal. And of course, as we saw earlier, 420 times cheaper gas fees is a great place to do work. It's a great place to do compounding strategies. Really is a game changer. The other thing, of course, is we've got Famous is going to be launching the GMX fork as well. Now, with Fiat, of course, we're potentially expecting that to launch before the end of July as well. So we've got the Coast team looking to launch. We've also got the Fiat looking to launch pretty soon, potentially launching before the end of July. And that's exciting to see, right? So we've got liquid loans, probably with the multi-sig coming soon, and so forth. So looking really, really good also. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, but we got the famous there, a GMX fork. This is margin trading or futures or perpetuals, and it's going to be a big deal. Obviously, the famous is a number 92 on CoinGecko with 580 million TVL on its back. And of course, it really is decentralized margin trading, futures or perpetuals, a really big deal there. And of course, we're going to have that. Now, the cool thing about this is that not your keys, your coins. A lot of people do trading, margin trading on centralized exchanges, but of course, that they can get wrecked if the exchange gets hacked or this or that, or they have to beg for their funds back from the exchange, whatever it may be. They have to do it. You know, maybe there's a technical issue on the exchange when they're doing a margin trading, it botches up their trade, and then you've got to spend weeks trying to get it cleared up, all that sort of stuff. Well, here obviously they're going to have your keys, your coins, but they get to do the margin trading and DeFi, and of course that's pretty bullish. Also, Richard Hart's always teased about try and short hex, that sort of stuff. We will see how that plays out on that one. So some fun things there, and I think that's going to have leverage up to, I think it was 30x leverage, which is the top that you would probably want. There's no 100x leverage on this protocol, and for this particular one. And of course, if you're generally going to do margin lending, then I would never suggest anything more than 3.3x if you are going to play that game. Once again, on that one, it certainly helps if you're on the bottom of a market as opposed to the top market. If you're going long means that you're expecting the price to go up, or if you're going short, you're expecting the price to go down. You make profit that way. All right, so that comes up. That's a big deal there. So we've got the Fiat and Famous, and there is Fiat. Fiat is a fork of Aave, and of course that is a big bank, right? Aave is a big bank protocol. So Fiat fork after that is bank and leverage. You can do base leverage on there, and of course at the moment it's only on Ethereum, but we're expecting that to launch on PulseChain. And of course, you can actually see that on the PulseChain projects because it's actually trading at the moment. Is the old Fiat, and it is up here. So it is trading here at the moment already, but the actual protocol is only on Ethereum at the moment. Expecting that to launch on the PulseChain, and probably before the end of this month is when we're expecting the Fiat there to launch on the time zone there. So that's coming up, the big fork of Aave. And of course, as you can see, number 3 on Ethereum is the old Aave fork. Look at that. Fiat fork of Aave, number 3, EV, a 5 billion TVL. That's a big target to try and hit. At the moment, of course, it's pretty modest on the old Ethereum, but maybe on PulseChain it will do a bit better. That being said, of course, all these protocols are going to be competing against each other for the returns, and of course the risk-return trade-off relative to everything that you can see is going to be different too. And obviously we've got the GMX fork there as well, 92. As well, bring the margin trading future. So we're going to have a lot of these utility services on PulseChain, and they're all going to start pricing up. All these are leverage plays. We're going to start pricing up the assets on PulseChain. This regardless of what Richard's playbook is with PulseX and everything else that he's got, the war chest, whatever else you can think of. This is regardless of that. This is happening anyway. This is the ecosystem rolling out on PulseChain at a fast rate. I mean, this is really fast. And of course, we've got all that play. Famous, of course, is also out there as well. And you can test this on Famous as well. So we've got the Fiat fork there and the Famous as well. So looking really good is on here. Let me take that out. So this is the fatty one here. Let me post this in the chat there if you want to check it out. Bam. That's the fatty one there. Fatty, that is fatty. It's got I like the PH names, right? So and we got the P-Hux here. This is the balancer fork, and so I'll post that as well. That's the P-Hux there, and of course, so this is the PH universe, right? All these 4 products so far. I'm sure they're going to have more too. And this is the Fiat one. Post that too, and if you want to check these all out. And finally, we got the famous, the GMX. The cool thing about this one too, I don't want to underplay it. So let me just get, before we get into 9-inch decks, the Fiat one there. Have we got that up there? Fiat, yeah. So this is the Fame one, and you can see all these links in here as well. So that is the famous one there that's coming to PulseChain. Now we're expecting the Fiat one here to launch on PulseChain before the end of this month, potentially. That's what's been signaled. And the famous, the GMX fork, the margin trading, to be launching in August. That's when we're expecting to launch. And the thing about this famous one, you don't actually have to do margin trading on here to make money. what you can do is provide liquidity. Yes, you can lend to the people that want to go and margin trade. You don't have to margin trade. You can just go and lend, and just go to the earn page here, and you can see that Fame is a staking token, accrues 40% of the platform's generated fees. Obviously, they've had sacrifices for these projects. And then the PHLP token is the liquidity provider token, accrues 60% of the platform's generated fees. And that's what you care about. You can actually provide liquidity on Famous and earn the fees. Sounds pretty good to me. So there we are. That's if you don't want to do any money, earn a pretty handsome return on this protocol, because this protocol, Famous, with the margin trading, could be very big indeed. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see that play out. All right, so those are some of the PH universe. And of course, they're doing a lot of Twitter spaces around that, so you can check all those out too. That's pretty cool. Now, the other one, of course, that's coming up is a 9-inch. And of course, you probably heard about this one, 15.8 million plus sacrificed. So a big project as well. And this has a yield farms, basically a DEX and yield farms. And of course, we know how popular yield farms have been lately. With the Daytona Finance, what else has been out there? The Pulse Rate farm, the PHUX balancer fork. So a lot of yields being chased in these ones, plus a few other DEXs out there that I don't generally talk about, but they're out there too with yield farms. You have to be careful with protocols. So I always say use a DGN wallet for these, but definitely you can earn pretty stellar returns on these, particularly in the early periods while the rates are particularly high. So that is 9-inch. That's coming to town. And of course, that's expected to launch very soon as well. There's some cool things about this. One is that I've got the list for that. Yeah, 9-inch DEX here. There's a 9-inch here at the moment. So I'll post the link to that if you want to find out more details. Really are doing the big DeFi coverage today, aren't we? Pretty intense. You guys loving us? I hope you are, because it's coming to town and it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. So we've got the 9-inch DEX there. That's coming. The Rock Hard PulseChain DEX. And it's going to be pretty fun. It's focusing on the meme coins, but they'll have a lot of other stuff on there too. It's going to be a pretty big deal there. And we look forward to seeing it launch. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Launching very soon. Now, they've going to have 4 tokens, 2 meme coins, which are Paul Pleb and Pulse Dodge PLD token. So they're already actually on the you can already buy those. And if you go to the meme coins, we'll jump over the meme coin list, you can actually see that those are up already. They've got Paul Pleb and PLD. They're already trading. And of course, then they're going to get pools, right? So they're going to get the other tokens. The other 2 tokens are the 9-inch token, which is what people sacrifice for, with this big sacrifice of 15.8 million. And of course, then they're going to have an incentive token on there, just like we do with the INC token on PulseX. Then have the BBC token, and that's going to go for the yield farms, right? So you're going to be able to earn those in yield farms. Now, apparently, the first 2 days, only the people holding the 9-inch token are going to be able to participate, apparently, on the protocol. And then the next 2 days, people with the BBC tokens. And then, of course, day 5, expecting to open up all to the rest of the pools. And of course, we are expecting, given that Paul Pleb and Pulse Dodge founders meme coins, that they will be supported and voted in early with the tokens. It's going to be pretty cool. Now, it does have a DAO, so you're going to need the 9-inch token to be able to vote for the rewards to the right pools. So there's a bit of a power play there, and that adds extra value to the 9-inch token. It's going to be fun to see that play out. Now, the caution with 9-inch, of course, is that it had a big sacrifice and it had a referral program in that sacrifice. So the referrals, there are some big referrals in there. They can dump down the tokens regardless of the first 2-day rules. They're about only having 9-inch to do that. So potentially we could see some referral wicks in the old price chart. So you probably see it run up and then see some wicks in there. There are also some large whales as well. So there's always those games that can be played in the price chart, but essentially you're probably going to see it spike right up. And of course, we're looking out for any of those wicks as coming out there. Who moves first, right? Who moves first? It's a bit like that. So a bit of game theory there. But the positive stuff is the pools, right? The pools are pretty much open for everybody. I think there's a pretty fair landscape for a lot of people to participate. And so, outside those main coins, I think you could have a good opportunity. Paul Pleb, PLD, maybe some other pools that pop up there could be very popular and good opportunity to get price appreciation on those assets as people go to buy them to put them in the pools, right? That's what happens. And so there may be some good opportunities there for you as well. All right, so that is pretty much a wrap up of the big DeFi that's coming soon. And we're talking about within probably the next 30 days, some of them within the next week or two. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed that.